Morning from Houston. It's Cassandra Knight with Keller Williams, The Woodlands, and Magnolia. And today I have Trace Burton here with me. Hi, Trace.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for you to come on the podcast because you're one of my favorite people to talk to. Because you know so much about what you do, and you're super passionate about it. So that's why I was so excited to have you on. So tell us what you do.
So obviously I do pest control and rodent control. So that's ants, roaches, spiders, mosquitoes, termites, rats, raccoons, all the above. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love talking to you about all your little stories about pest control because you have some genuinely interesting stories. So what got you into pest control?
So I believe it was like 2020 COVID year.
Okay.
Wasn't really doing too much. I was working at an academy and needed something to do, like a better job. And then I was looking on Indeed, found pest control. I was like, dude, this sounds like really some fun stuff. And then one of the first jobs I did, I fell in love with it. It was a German roach job, which is like the small ones.
Okay.
And they were all over this kitchen. And I was like, this is insane. Like, I love seeing the stuff that you're not really supposed to see. And that combined with like the insect part of it, it was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. And a lot of people think it's weird, but I love it.
So like before you got into pest control, were you already like a bug person?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
I think I'm just an animal person in general, but
Okay.
I definitely like the unique animals more than just, your standard. I love dogs and cats, but like snakes, anything that's like people quote unquote fear, I love that stuff.
Okay. What's your most like exciting pest control story since you've been started?
Exciting. I think one of the funnest jobs I ever had was it was a house, like a larger house, a 3,000 square foot house, and it was a rental property, and the people had already moved out, but it was completely infested with roaches. It was like so bad. As soon as you walked in the door, roaches were falling from the door frame, and it was just so fun because at the time I was working for a company, and so we like suited up, me and a partner of mine, we suited up and we were like so excited to go in there and just do our thing because we could do not whatever we wanted, but like it was just crazy to see. We're opening up the refrigerator and there's roaches all over the place.
Gosh.
Remove the refrigerator. I'm talking thousands of uthicas, which are the roach eggs.
Okay.
And each one of those eggs is 40 roaches at least, So you just imagine, and then it was like that everywhere, and it was just so much fun.
So did y'all just get rid of everything, or did you keep anything, or?
We like had Tyvek suits on, which are like the crawl suits.
Yeah.
We duct taped our shoes, but I've never really had a fear or seen like anything get on me. As far as roaches are concerned, now I'd be a little bit more skeptical when it comes to bed bugs, but it's pretty obvious if you got something on you. But it was fun. The whole entire house, you could see they had removed the furniture already. And you could see, because the poop of the roaches, you could see the outline of where every piece of furniture was.
That's crazy. So. Oh my gosh. Ew, I don't think I can walk through a building like that.
Oh yeah, we were having a good time. We were making videos just for our personal use. Is like, I had a pan they left a pan underneath the stove, and so I was grabbing roach eggs and live roaches, and I was like acting like it was a cooking show and put it in the oven. And so it was a fun time.
No, ew.
We were having a good time in there.
So, like, that house, once you do your pest control and everything, will it ever be livable again, you think?
Yeah. It's just with that, it takes a lot. It's not just like a one and done thing. It was a multi-process thing. Luckily, a lot of times the biggest issue is there's, like, stuff in the way. People are still living there, so they're having to, like, eat, and maintain that stuff. Everything was moved out, and that's like the ideal situation. You tell people all the time, like, hey, because these roaches normally infest the kitchen area, but when it really gets bad, it goes all over the place. But it's like, hey, you got to remove everything from your cabinets and stuff like that to treat for this, and half the time they do it, half the time they don't. So it was pretty easy, but I think it took us like 4 treatments to really get rid of that issue for them.
That's crazy.
It definitely is it's possible to get rid of them. It's just, it takes a long time. It's not like an overnight process. It's a couple months things if everything goes good.
So how did you get, like, educated on pest control? Like, is there a class that you take, or, like, for me, like, real estate, I have to go through, you know, classes
Right.
to be able to write contracts, do things. So what do you do to, like, become the best pest control person you can?
I mean, obviously there's licensing you have to hold through the state, which you do that. But to be honest, like, the test, I feel like a 5-year-old could pass it.
Okay.
Like, if you know a little bit about bugs and you can do a little bit of math as far as chemical ratios and stuff like that, then you can pass it.
Okay.
So really, it's about just self-educating, like, and then also picking the brains of people that have been doing it for years and
Mm-hmm.
years. Is like a lot of the what's it called, the people that that supply our products to us, our vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's some older guys. One guy named Don Stetler. I love to talk to him because he'll talk your ear off, and he's full of knowledge. Bill Burke, a guy I'm in business with, he's been doing it for 25 years. So I find those people that have been in the industry for forever, and because there's a 1,000 ways to skin a cat, and same thing with anything, right? Pest control, it's like you could have the same issue, and there's 25 different ways to deal with that same issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like finding out what works for you and what's best for you. And so I always like to find out from other people, like, hey, what do you do for this? Even though I have something that works, it's always good to learn, and I enjoy trying new things. So it's just self-educating, going on YouTube and learning about stuff like that. And then also, like I said, the people that have done it before for the longer than I've been alive, almost. So
Longer than you've been alive. How long have you been in pest control?
So I think this is the 5th year.
Oh,
fifth
wow.
year. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you learn pretty quickly if you want. Like, when I was working for a company, I worked for a company for 2 years, and I was just like the yes guy. Anytime there was like a situation that popped up that they were asking, like, hey, do you want to go do this? I was like, yes. Like, sign me up, because I wanted to learn as much as I could, because the goal was to start my own business.
Okay.
So,
So what was the hardest job you ever did?
the hardest job, I'd say, well, I think it's the hardest job because it's like the most tiring and like also scary, like sketchy, was a rodent exclusion we did. It was like super sketchy. It was a really steep roof.
Ooh.
And we had what's called a goat ladder. Basically, it hooks onto the pitch of the peak of the roof,
Mm-hmm.
like goes down. You have to walk down, and a lot of the areas where we were sealing up, we had to use that ladder. So it's just tiring on the body. Plus, it was summertime in
Mm-hmm. Hot.
Houston, so
Yeah.
it was a fun time. Legs were quivering at the end of the day because it was like 8 hours straight of just being up on a roof, and you don't realize how many muscles you're using when you're trying to hold on.
Yeah.
But it catches up with you over time.
I'm sure. I've never heard of a goat ladder. I feel like that's something I would hear from a roofer, and I'm not yet. So.
Yeah, there's like I said, it's basically just a bar
Mm-hmm.
with little pegs on it, and it has like this little hook, so you put it on the peak of the roof and it falls down onto the roof itself, and that's what you use to like go up and down.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
it's
Okay.
definitely a little sketchy, but nothing.
What's your favorite bug?
Favorite bug? I don't know. I really have a fascination with termites. Termites are
I
so
know. You told
unique.
about that story.
Yeah.
The whole. What was it that you found in the? It was at Amanda's place, right?
Yeah.
So you found like the nest.
Yeah, a nest.
And that's pretty rare, right?
Well, yeah, just because a lot of times the nests are in ground, or there's termites. They're called Formosan termites,
Mhm.
which are from China. They come here, and they're a little bit more aggressive than what's called the eastern subterranean termite. That's native to here. And the eastern subterranean termite, normally their nests are down in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and then they make tubes into the home, and then that's when they start feeding on it. So you really don't find the nest. You just either do a liquid treatment or some type of baiting system and prevent them from coming back into the home. And then the Formosan termites, they can nest inside a home, like
Mhm.
inside the wall. But unless you're like literally going and cutting out the whole house, like all the walls and stuff like that, you normally don't find the nest. You just either do like some baiting where they're active, or like a liquid treatment again around the perimeter of the home or wherever they're at, foaming. So you normally don't find the nest unless you just get lucky.
Mm.
And I've been fortunate to find a couple of them, and it's just fun to do. It's like I was telling you, it's like going to play golf for the first time and you watch someone hit a hole in one. It's like, okay, that's cool. But the people that golf for forever are like, no, you don't understand. This doesn't really happen that often.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it was. She thought it was funny that I was freaking out, but I just love it.
I mean, that's pretty cool. But what about termites? Is you like what do you?
I think
makes them your
termite.
favorite?
Yeah, I think termites are just so fascinating because just like ants, ants are similar in a way where they're way more. There's way more to them than just like this tiny little bug. A lot of people think they're like dumb or they're just like there existing, but when they're like a very crucial. A lot of bugs are a very crucial part of our ecosystem. They break down like I think it's don't quote me on this, but it's like 70% of plant matter. Like the wood, fibers, materials. So like all the trees that you see that are dying and falling down, a lot of that's being broken down by termites. But they're all doing it like hidden, and it's just like the way they communicate as a community. Same with ants. They're like so community driven, and I've always found it fascinating. Like if humans were like ants or termites, how I feel like way more productive our society would be because like there's strict roles in the community of a termite colony. So you have the worker. That guy just goes out, and that's the majority of the colony are workers. They go out, they get the food, they find new food sources. They're the only ones that can feed, so they're the only ones that are eating, and they bring it back to the colony and give it to the queen, the reproductives, and then the soldiers as well, which the soldiers are the ones that protect the colony. That's the only thing they do. And obviously the queen, the reproductives are the ones that are reproducing and growing the colony. And it's all very, sophisticated. It's not, they're able to place pheromones down, like, hey, we found this food source, place a good pheromone down, like, this is where we need to be. And the same way, if, something bad is going on, they put down pheromones, like, hey, don't go here, go somewhere else, because we're dying here. And that's when it becomes tricky for us, because, everyone thinks, maybe pest control is just, you just slap some chemical down or liquid or whatever, and then they'll be fine. But they're actually smart. They can detect those certain chemicals, and be like, hey, let's not go here because we're dying. We don't know why, but, let's not go here and go somewhere else. And that's when our job is really figuring out what the problem is and then assessing from there. So
what do you do when they, start saying, don't go here, we're dying?
Well, that's the whole goal is to prevent that from even happening. One of my favorite things to do is termite baiting systems, because once you get them feeding on that, it's pretty much guaranteed that they're gonna die. The way they work is when you put these bait stations either around the house or what's called a above ground station, where you put it where they're actually feeding above the ground. Obviously, they don't know why they're dying, because the way this product works is they feeding on it. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't kill them. It basically prohibits them from molting, which termites go through a molting process similar to a crab would, or a spider or tarantula, like that. So they are feeding on this food and they're loving it. It's basically craft to them. They're like, this is the best thing ever. But over time, it's softening their exoskeleton, and then prohibits them from molting either properly or at all. So it's not necessary that they're dying right there at the source. They're dying maybe even 3 to 4 months down the road. And so they have no idea why they're dying. They just know that everyone's dying. But by the time they realize that they're dying, it's too late.
Yeah.
And then also within it's only a couple weeks of feeding on that bait, since it is softening their exoskeleton, their mandibles are the thing that's actually allowing them to feed. And then so after a couple weeks of feeding on this bait, their mandibles become so soft that they can't actually eat wood. So even though it does take a little bit longer for the product to take effect, they'll still be active in the galleries that they've made, but they're not making new ones inside the home or anywhere else, because they can't actually chew on the wood. So they're only reliant on the bait. And then over time, it could take, depending on how big the colony is, 6 months. And then you got full colony elimination. That's how you know for sure that it's gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And with there are good, there's certain times where liquid treatments are good, but you have to be more precise with where you're putting the liquid, and making sure you're getting a full coverage, drilling around the concrete and stuff like that. And then there's just there's really easy ways to slip up when it comes to liquid treatment. So I prefer the baiting system, and it is new technology. So some of the old guys will tell you that the liquid treatment's the way to go, but I feel like they're stuck in their ways.
Hey, that's everybody in every industry. There's a couple that think they know, this is the way, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, you got to find what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell me about these.
All right. So these are a couple of my little babies.
You're definitely going to have to show the camera because I don't know if they can. Yeah.
These are obviously Madagascar hissing cockroaches. This is the male. You can tell by his big horns on his, I think it's pronotum. That's what they're called. Their head is actually right here, and the pronotum is the thing that protects their head. And so he's got big horns on there. And then the female is a little bit bigger than he is, but she does not have the big horns on the pronotum.
I doubt you heard it, but the female just like squealed.
Yeah. Obviously, hissing cockroaches.
Uh-huh.
So these guys are super cool.
So the females are bigger usually?
Yeah, bigger. I believe she's pregnant too. They get pregnant all the time, but you can see how it's kind of stretched out a little bit.
Okay.
But there's the size difference.
These are never going to be in my house, right? Like
No. These would never survive in the climate. These actually prefer a drier climate.
I think I've seen them in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they'll run around in Florida.
Maybe. Normally, they prefer drier climates than what you would think a roach would, because normally most insects prefer a moist environment.
Now. I can see that.
Yeah. But if you see, like, that's not their actual head. A lot of people think that this is, like, maybe their eyes, you know? Mm-hmm. But their head is this right here.
Mm-hmm.
But super docile creatures. And then these guys can climb whatever. But if you see those white things,
yep.
I could try to get it on the camera. But if you look at their feet, they have these white little pads. Those are called tarsal pads. And those are what allows them to climb on like surfaces like this plastic. Normally animals wouldn't be able to climb that. But those are one of the ways that products we use get into their system, because they're constantly cleaning those.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they walk across an area that's been treated, they get those on their tarsal pads, and when they clean them, that's how the product gets into their system, and that's how they go bye-bye forever.
That's crazy.
So, but I enjoy this. These are really cool. I have hundreds of them at the house.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
What do you do with hundreds of hissing cockroaches?
I just try to grow the colony as big as I can.
For what? What's the purpose?
Because it's cool.
But, like, here's my thing. When you die, where are they going to go? Someone's going to come in and they're going to destroy them.
Maybe, yeah. If I die, they die with me, I guess. That's the goal.
That's the goal?
No. Probably that's what's going to happen. But normally I had a tarantula for a while that I would feed them to.
Okay.
Like, feed these guys to them, and then we'll see. But I try to just grow the colony as big as possible. That's the goal, really. I've wanted to get a termite colony as well, but...
How hard is it to grow a termite colony?
It's not hard at all. You really just need a sealed container to trap the humidity in there, because they are definitely reliant on humidity. But these guys, I mean, you throw whatever. If a vegetable goes bad in your refrigerator, they love the mold. It actually helps them break down their food, moldy food, and then they actually will... Roaches normally eat their poop. And that helps it's like a probiotic for them as well. So, you want to hold them? You got this, Cassandra.
I'm so nervous.
Come on.
It's not going to bite me, right?
No.
Okay.
It's like a little massage.
Ew! Oh my gosh, it feels disgusting. That is so gross. Oh my gosh. Please don't bite me. Can they bite? No?
I've never had them bite me, so I have no idea. I'm sure they can.
Terrifying. You said it's never bit me, but it might bite you.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just chilling?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're normally pretty docile. You heard they normally only hiss when they're like threatened or they're trying to do some fun stuff.
Well, when you picked her up, she was not happy.
Yep. And the way they actually hiss is through these tiny little holes on their body. Let's see. You can see them. They're kind of hard to tell, but they're right there. There's some holes along the body, and it basically is a way they breathe. And
like
then
on the backside?
You can see them right here. See those like black dots?
Oh, yeah.
So they all have holes, and they just basically push air out them. And that's the hissing noise that they make. So
Interesting.
They're
I
fun.
didn't know that's how they hissed. I definitely thought it came out of their mouths.
Mm-mm. No, it's through holes in their body. Pretty wild.
Huh. Okay. So tell me more about rodents. You do rodents too, right?
Yeah, so we basically seal up houses best we can. Normally that's the way to go that we try to do is physically exclude them. We can't really do that with the insects because you would have to have your house vacuum sealed pretty much.
Yeah.
Even these guys, I wouldn't say these guys, but the big American roaches that everyone sees in their house down here in Houston, they're like this big.
Mm-hmm.
They can fit into cracks and crevices a thickness of a dime. So, I mean, go around your house and try to seal that up. Good luck with that. But as far as rodents go, I mean, mice and stuff like that, I always say if your pinky goes, or at least for me, I don't have that big of pinkies, but if it goes to the second knuckle, a mouse can fit through that. So, common areas are weep holes. There's a thing called offsets, basically where the soffit comes and touches the shingles of your house.
Mm-hmm.
They always leave gaps there because if you put the wood or the soffit right on the shingles, it allows moisture. That soffit will like wick the moisture up and damage the wood over time. So that's why they have those gaps. But then normally those gaps can be pretty large, and so either rats or squirrels will find their way straight through, or they'll just chew around and make a big enough hole to where they can get through.
Okay.
And so we seal those up. But they can be pretty aggressive when it comes to depending on what they're doing inside the attic. Squirrels are pretty simple, straightforward. Mice can be difficult just because of the holes they can fit into.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to find. And then obviously raccoons are the most difficult just because they're so big, they're powerful. A lot of people don't believe how strong they are. But I've literally seen them rip straight through shingles, straight through the deck board into someone's attic. And they can detect moisture, I believe, because normally it's like where the deck board is like wet or destroyed already. And I think it's because they burrow into trees and stuff like that in the wilderness. And obviously a dead tree is easier to rip through than like a live tree. So I think they're able to detect that moisture and they think it's like a dead tree pretty much, so they can like rip through it.
Okay.
That's my belief. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it makes sense to me. And right now is mating season for them. So by the time like March hits, they start having babies, and that's when they're looking for your home.
Okay, so raccoons.
Yeah,
okay.
For raccoons.
How common are raccoons in this area?
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
all
but
the time.
like we're so close to the city, I feel like.
No, they thrive in the
care.
city because that's why they're called trash pandas.
Well,
they love eating your trash. I'm telling you, any neighborhood, especially whether it's new, old, or in the middle, I mean, they're thriving because at the beginning, the ones that were there, you know, it was the woods at one point. Your neighborhood was woods at one point. They're already there, and then when they get kicked out, they realize, hey, we got some food over here. They're leaving all this trash out, you know, at night. And then older neighborhoods are more established, and then they just learn how it works, and then they feed on your trash or whatever you leave out. A lot of people feed cats at night, or stray cats, and then the food's there, so it's easy pickings for them. And then eventually they're like, hey, this is a pretty cool place. We should try to live here too. And they live rent-free. So.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because I thought, like, the closer you are to the city, the less likely you're going to see animals like that. But no?
No. Oh, no. Definitely not. I'd say especially rats, they go hand in hand with humans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but, you know, like, restaurants with all the food, all homes with all the trash and stuff like that, they thrive on that stuff. And then we naturally make shelters ideally for them. So it's like, why not hang out here?
Okay.
And they're nocturnal. And that's why people probably don't think that they're around, because unless you're up at night, and they're very sneaky too, so they can definitely get away from you.
Okay.
So. But it's everywhere, all the time.
I just don't want to think that there's any animals other than the ones I know about living in my house.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there is somewhere, but I don't like to think about it.
Yeah.
Rats are cool. I like mice.
You done with that?
I mean, he's chilling. He's just sitting there.
But
he didn't like me. He just sat in one spot. He was like, I'm cool.
They're pretty docile. Like, really chill. Great first pet for a kid.
Okay. How hard is it to take care of them, though? You just feed them scraps?
Yeah. So I basically keep them, well, what was an airtight container. It has like a gasket on the lid of a Rubbermaid tub. Egg cartons, which I guess are getting pretty expensive right now.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But you keep them egg cartons. That's where they like hide in between the cracks and crevices. It basically gives them surface area to hang out. And then I feed them whatever cat food, like wet, dry cat food, doesn't really matter. Like I said, old vegetables, whatever you can find around the house, they'll eat it. They're decomposers. That's why they hang out in the sewers. These guys don't, but like American roaches, stuff like that are common around here, hang out in the sewers because, I mean, they're breaking down your poop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. So, they're, like, once again, they're very important to the environment. You know, they're breaking down things and helping us out, but a lot of people just have this weird fear because I guess they don't look cute.
They do not look cute. Not to me. They're okay.
But luckily they hide in the dark for the most part.
Okay.
And then if people are scared of them, I mean, that's great for me.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, we're coming close to the end of the podcast. So let me ask you this. So if you could talk to the business owner that's going to be in the room next, what would be your advice to them?
The business owner? Like a pest control?
Like the next person that walks in this room who is a business owner, what would you say to them?
Start simple. That's one thing I kind of made a mistake on is I thought I needed everything. You don't. And I learned that very quickly. And then once I started simple, like made everything simple and then grow from there instead of trying to act like I'm super complex company and all this at the beginning, it made life 1,000 times easier and it made it very simple. And then also just be consistent on networking. I think networking is the biggest and the easiest way to grow your business, from at least my personal opinion. So stay on networking, keep involvement in the community, and that'll take you pretty far. It's pretty amazing.
So, what's your goal for this year?
Goal for this year?
As a business, what do you want to do?
Let me see. I haven't really thought about this. My goal for this year would be just grow grow to have at least another truck, so another route. Basically be able to start another route so I can hand that off to an employee and I can start another route on my own, because right now it's just me. And so it'd be awesome to be able to, at the end of the year, be like, all right, here's all these people, take care of them, and then start another route myself.
You want to start bringing people in on your business? That's awesome.
Definitely.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Have you thought about who you want to bring on, or if anything like that?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Just want to.
Yeah.
Got it. Trying to think anything else. Do the roaches have names? Do you name them?
No. There's too many of them.
Well, that's no fun.
And they're hard to tell apart.
You're telling me you don't sit there and name off thousands of roaches?
This morning, I saw your text message last night. I was like, all right, I'll get in the morning. And I went into the bin, and I grabbed a male and a female. So that's it. So this is male, and that's female.
Yes.
But no,
are the females always bigger?
Huh?
They're always bigger? The
yeah.
girls?
Oh, yeah. Naturally. Just because, they have to carry the load.
That's true. That's true.
But at least in these guys, a lot of animals, their females naturally bigger, and that goes for these guys. So
I know that males are usually more colorful, but I didn't know that they would be.
Yeah, they have different, I guess, morphs or genetics, where you can get some that are they're called Halloween hissing cockroaches.
Okay.
And they're a little bit more colorful.
Okay.
There's more separation in the browns and stuff like that, but yeah, not
very nice.
I mean, he is a little lighter than she is.
He is. She's a little dark.
But normally that means that he has molted before her.
Oh, okay.
So every time they molt, some people will say that they see an albino roach, and it's this super white roach that is maybe softer than normal. And that's because it had just molted, within the last couple hours. And then over time, it starts to darken up. So that's why she's darker than he is. And it's probably because he's molted recently. And then he'll get darker over time. So she's probably going to molt soon.
Okay.
And that's probably why the color difference is there.
Very nice. Okay, well, that's the end of the podcast. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you. And always fun having conversations with you.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Thanks,
See you later.
guys.